Drop what you do on YouTube. It's Big Play Thick, and today we're going to be out here showing y'all all the defensive pre-snap adjustments with the controller. And I know I'm using Xbox One. If you use PS4, don't worry. I'm going to be telling y'all how to do it too. So we're on defense here. We're controlling the Miami Dolphins in practice mode here, and we're running it. This is just base Tampa 2 out of 4-3. And so the first thing we can do is we're going to look at our defensive line. So obviously, B can change players, but if you hold B and then move or hold B or circle and move your left stick, you can almost choose the player. It'll send you in that direction. So if I want to go to that cornerback on the left there, I'll B and then hold left to the safety B and up, other safety B and right. If I want to go back, B and left. So that's a quick way to go around. A quicker way to go around players if you're trying to go in between players. But if you're trying to, you'll see a different way, a better way, a faster way to actually change the assignments of certain defensive players without having to actually scroll all the way to their player and then change them individually. You can change any player on the field without moving off of your user. It's possible. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the defensive line, and to get the defensive line indicator to pop up on the bottom left there, or bottom right, you press LB, or if you're on PS4, you press I think it's called L1, and that's it's this button right here. It's going to be backwards for you guys, so it's going to be on the other side. So you're here, it's going to be this button right here. And if you press that once, you'll be able to get all these information. And if you want to spread the D line so that they go like that, you can do that. Just follow the instructions, right? And I'll show you guys what it looks like when you pinch. So this is going to be pinch, right? They get really close. You can also change the direction in which what gaps they hit, right? So here we're going to press L2 where left trigger, and we're going to clear the shift, and they'll go right back to where they started. And you see how each player has a gap assigned, right? So that left defensive tackle is in the A gap between the center and the left guard. Well, we can change what direction we want them to slant, what gaps they want to shoot. So if we do this and we say slant to the right, we slant to the right, and we'll do it by doing it to the right. If we look at the D line now, you see that left D tackle is now actually going to hit the gap between the center and the right guard, that A gap, and the other D tackle has also shifted his gap assignment. So obviously, if you're worried about running up the middle, you want to slant inside. If you're worried about the outside gaps, you'll want to slant outside. And you see what that does. Pretty much leaves both A gaps between the center and the left guard and center and the right guard completely unblocked on the defensive side. But it gets much better outside pressure and outside contain. So if you want to look at that, and other thing you can do is what you see, quick adjust. So if you press the button again, so same button, L1, LB, if you press it twice, once and once again, you can see your assignment. You can see each player and choose a player. Say we want to put Ndamukong Suh in a quarterback spy. We'll press A or X. It'll be X on the PlayStation control, but we'll press A, and that brings up all the assignments that we can put him on. We can do almost anything with him. We can keep him on the blitz. We can bluff the blitz, and he'll go back and play his zone. We can put him on a quarterback side. Hell, we can even man him up. Let's man him up on. We can man him up on Dion Lewis. We can man him up on the running back if we want. Or if we don't like that, we can do that exact same thing again, and we can put him on a vertical hook, and he'll play in the same area that the left outside linebacker is playing. Or we can put him in a quarterback spy, right? So this is how you can quick adjust your defensive linemen and have them do whatever you want. And again, notice, I've had my selector on this right outside linebacker the whole time. I can change the assignment of any of these guys, without going off my user. So that's the defensive line. If you can do the same thing with the linebackers, right? So it's just going to be RB. So it's going to be this button right here, or if you're on PlayStation, it'll be R1. And then you press it once, and you can control all the linebackers at the same time. So if you want to spread them out, it'll spread them out, right? Obviously, it won't really touch the one that you're using because the CPU knows that you're doing it. If you want to, move them to the right, if you want to, do this, you can also make it almost like you can almost turn your 4-3 into a 3-4. So if we reset the play here, right, we're back to normal. If we move the D line to the left, that's D line to the left. Excuse me, I accidentally slanted left. D line to the left, and we do the right outside line, the outside linebackers, the linebacker to the right. What this guy will usually do is he'll come down here, and you see we're in a pseudo 3-4, but just because of the way that we're running Tampa 2, he won't do that. So again, back to the linebackers, we can pinch them, and that'll bring these two guys down up the middle, or you can change the way what they're doing. So say we want to send an all-out blitz because we know they're going to be running the ball. So we can send an all-out blitz, and now all linebackers will be listening. But say, he checks out of that play, and he changes to a different play, and you're like, oh no, I want to send him back to zone, so we'll put him back in zone all, and they'll all go back to the zone. You see they go back to different zones, though, than they necessarily started with. So in that case, what you really want to do is you want to clear shift again, and that'll bring it all back to the way it was at the very beginning. And you can also control left outside linebacker blitz, you can do right outside linebacker blitz, and the only way to get your middle linebacker to do a blitz is you're going to have to do the double click again, choose the middle linebacker, and then tell him to blitz. And that's how you get him to blitz. So we're gonna clear the shift on this one. We'll set him right back. And again, if you want to do the quick adjustments, you can choose the linebacker. So right, I'll choose the left outside linebacker. I'll choose Lawrence Timmons. I can put him on man coverage. I can put him on coverage on Chris Hogan. If I want to send some kind of weird blitz, if I'm doing this, right? If I have a blitz like this, right, I could do that. You can do all sorts of coverage, and that's what a lot of the top players tend to do. Is that they, when they're sending blitzes, they'll man up a couple guys and put them on man coverage just for a play or two, just because they have certain things that they're looking for to stop, and the man coverage will stop that. So of course we'll go back to clear shift, and everything will go back to normal. And I think that's everything for the linebackers. So that leaves the defensive backs. So you press Y, or on PlayStation it'll be triangle, and that'll give all the options. You can give cushion, and they'll step backwards. Or if you want to press, they'll press up against the wide receivers wherever the wide receivers are lined up. But you can also do something called baseline, and baseline is a big thing because when you baseline, it will make all of your players, it will make your defense look like this every single time, no matter what play you're covering. You could be calling a blitz. You could be calling some kind of a press play. You could be calling anything, and if you baseline, it will go back to what the formation is supposed to look like, regardless of anything else. Right, so if we switched into, say, a cover 3 sky, right, oftentimes, right, you see this safety will come down, right, but if we don't want him to come down and we want to disguise, we want to hide what kind of coverage we're coming out in, you do baseline, or I guess, well, this is unbaseline. If we want to rebaseline, they'll all go back, and I pull that guy down so that, And so the next thing we can look at is, we want the guys to show blitz. If we show blitz, that'll bring everyone closer in, put both safeties in the box. Obviously, as if you're showing a blitz, you can shade your coverages. Now, this is important. You see how we're in cover 3 right now. You see how there are those 2 purple routes that are called curl to flat routes. We can actually change those routes from there. So if we do shade underneath, they'll become hard flats, and these guys will play, the 2 or 3 yard margin of the line of scrimmage. But we can also change those back into cloud flats, and they'll play more, 10 yards back from the line of scrimmage. So we'll just reset the play back to normal, back to cover 2. And so if you notice, sometimes, I don't want to say sometimes, but in cover 3, if we go back to cover 3 here, right, curl the flat, if we shade the coverage over top, right? The route doesn't actually, the flats doesn't actually change. What zone they're covering doesn't actually change. And if you want to change that to a cloud flat, you need to actually go underneath and then go over top, and that's the only way you can get the curl to flat routes to go into cloud flats. And so you can also do outside shading, which will leave the guys shaded more toward the outside, so they'll be looking to play more sideline routes than they'll be playing inside routes, which will leave the inside of the field more open. But to counteract that, you can do the inside, but that'll leave the outside more open. So those are pretty self-explanatory. And so that leaves a couple more things. If you want the DBs to play the sticks, right? So if they're on a flat and it's 3rd and 8, you don't want them to be standing 12 yards away because that'll allow them to get the first down, right? So you choose the sticks option, and instead of playing 12 yards deep, they'll play the 8 yards deep because it's 3rd and 8. So they'll be at the line of first down to protect it. Pretty self-explanatory. And if you want to do man align, it'll get the if we were doing say man coverage, base align. But we actually wanted the guys to man up. We'll press man align, and you see how the guys will now move in to be right over the top of the wide receivers. This is generally useful, near the goal line and stuff, or if you're trying to call press coverage and you're in a baseline look. And so, and then of course you can do the individual assignments. So if I want to, turn, Xavier Howard into a blitz, I can turn him into a blitz. If I want to turn Tony Lippett on the right over there, if I want to put him in a soft squat, put him in a soft squat, right? If I want to, bring down Rashad Jones and put him in a quarterback spy, I can do that, right? Again, you don't need to move your user. You can keep your user on whatever linebacker or defensive lineman or whatever you want. You can adjust anyone on the field without moving your selector. I just want to, make sure that you all know that, because that's an important thing. That's a huge thing. That's how you're going to be able to make fast adjustments when you're on defense. And you'll just be making these adjustments. You'll get fast and you'll get faster. And you'll know that if you want to put a guy in a hard flat, it's going to be left. It's going to be the left on the left stick. If you're going to want to put a guy safety in a deep half, you'll know that's going to be up on the left stick. You'll just by doing them and taking your time and looking at the coverages, you'll see and you'll get used to knowing what directions up and what buttons to press to make these fast adjustments, and you'll be making these fast adjustments. So now there are two more things that I want to look at, and it's individual coverage, which you see there's that A button, which on PlayStation of course will be X. And if you press that, it'll show all the receivers, and basically what this is doing is it's called highlighting almost. It's pretty much called highlighting. And if I want to highlight Brandon Cooks because I think he's going to be running some kind of cover 3 beater, and I'm in cover 3, and I think Cooks is going to be running a streak or a fade, and I'm worried about him, then I can choose him and can press the receiver. I can back him off. So if I want to press him, there you go. You see the cornerback will now press Cooks. So if I want to go back individual Cooks, I can back him off, and that's with the right stick. Or if you want to, or if you're worried about him, hitting the outside, we can shade the guy to the left, and that's similar to outside coverage, but it's more choosing left, right, and only on one wide receiver. And so the DB will play to Cooks' left, and we can shade him to the right, and you see he moved over to the right just a little bit. And the last thing you can do, is spotlight. And when you spotlight, it'll just tell, that little indicator will come up, and basically what's going to happen is whatever players are over on that side of the receiver, they're going to be focused more on him than they are on the other receivers. So right, if the Patriots ran, if Cooks ran a streak, maybe the right outside linebacker would run with him. But what happens is, Cooks is now double covered on that regard, but it leaves Dion Lewis, who might be running a little flat route, wide open because the right outside linebacker might no longer be there. So again, there are gives and takes. You got to know what you want your defense to do. You want to know who you need to cover, where you need to cover, where you're leaving empty, so you know where you can make up in other areas, right? In this case, if Lewis isn't going to get covered because say we have the right outside linebacker on a curl flat, but we have Cooks highlighted so they go together, but that's going to leave the hard flat, that's going to leave the 30-yard line on the left side open for Dion Lewis. you know, we can adjust that and put the right end in a hard flat, and now he's covering it. But what that does is, right now you only have 3 guys blitzing. You only have 3 guys blitzing, so you're going to likely get less pressure. And it also means that if he runs the ball to Burkhead or runs the ball to Lewis, you're more likely to get impact blocked. The right end is more likely to get impact blocked than the other guys who are on a blitz. So just things like that. And there's just one more thing I want to go over. So if you press the left trigger, or on PS4 L2, you can commit to a pass, which also means that if they run the ball, you're more likely to get pancaked and impact blocked. But it also means that you'll play the pass better, you know, or if they run play action, your guys won't really fall for the play action fake. Or you can run commit to the left if you think they're going to run to the left, run commit to the right, or run commit up the middle, whatever. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Your team will all out commit to the run in that regard, in that direction, which means that if they pass, 90% of the time you're screwed. Unless you're in the goal line and you have an awesome user and you know who they're going to throw to. There are 2 more options, right? You can a couple more options. You can make the whole defense pinch. So, right, that'll make the D-line pinch and the linebackers pinch, and the cornerbacks will converge in. We're going to reset the play here. Or you can also spread, and that'll, you know, put the DBs and give cushion. It'll spread the D-line and it'll spread the linebackers. That's pretty self-explanatory. And the last couple things are option quarterback and option running back, which means that if they're running an option play, you know, the read option, if you choose option quarterback, your defense will focus on the quarterback running more than they'll focus on the running back running. And obviously the other way around, if you choose option running back. But if you choose, right, obviously, if you choose option running back and they run a read option, the quarterback keeps it, your defense is now bailing out to get the running back, but the quarterback has the ball, and so the quarterback might get a huge gain. So again, these things tend to be high risk, high reward. And so the last thing is quarterback contain. So as you can see, the defensive linemen, the ends are actually converging in, but if you put them in contain, they'll actually go on the outside of the play, and they'll make sure that the quarterback stays in the pocket, which means that if the quarterback wants to step up in the pocket, right, it'll be easier for the quarterback to do that. If you're going up against a guy like Michael Vick and someone who loves to scramble outside the pocket, quarterback contain is awesome, because if they try to do that, your D lineman is going to be, you know, right there to meet him. So that's pretty much how you you do adjustments. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment. I don't know. There are lots of buttons. Just press all the buttons. I'm sure everything will work out. Definitely subscribe, though, if you want more content, because I'm going to be uploading stuff like this all the time. Little tips and tricks, you know, how-tos. I'll also go over all the hot routes on offense for you guys. And of course, I'll be showing you more, you know, coverage beaters. If you want to learn how to beat cover 3, I'll show you some plays that beat cover 3, etc., cover 4. I'll show you some of those and some other gameplay mechanics. So, and of course, sniping videos will happen as well. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.